My universe is a collection of my favorite things. Click on any of the main rooms of my universe and you will see a list of my favorites in different areas of my life. For example, the food room contains a list of my favorite meals. By favorites, I mean something different than commonly understood. I mean favorites that are vetted. Favorite things are often warped and wobbled by culture, availability, fetishes, context, etc. Unless our favorites are vetted against other higher principles and values, against our highest sense of self, who we are at the core, and our particular mission, collections of favorites can end up being a pile of low and high, a mishmash of obvious stuff that may have some interest, but wouldn't be satisfying in the end to the person whose favorites they are, or their significant others. Poorly vetted favorites leave us to lament, as Brother Stephen Victor Tellerico did when he said, "I kept the right ones out and let the wrong ones in." So when I say that I am colonizing my universe with my favorites, I mean very highly vetted favorites. In particular, I mean my heaven-vetted favorites, vetted for and vetted by the spirit of a royal kingdom that commands me to separate the wheat from the tares in my universe. From the perspective of outsiders to my universe, these types of favorites are substitutes, but for me and my king, they are the real thing, the better thing for me. Consider if I was less discriminating and vetted my favorite things in a broader, less strict, less heaven-centric way. And unfortunately, I often do. Suppose that I let my collections of favorite things, my food, songs, stories, etc., and the whole of my universe be strongly defined in a me by them fashion, where I default my favorites to the favorites preferred by most people in my tribe, by what American and Western society values, by what is traditional, easy, and convenient. The good news is that my collection of favorite things would be a trove of things that are most likely to be expected by, and thus mildly please, the average Joe and corporate empires around me. The bad news, however, is that there would not be a lot of surprise or mystery or might in such collections and in my universe. As the Barry Manilow song suggests, my universe would be populated with stuff that causes no jolts, no surprises, no crisis arises. My life goes along as it should. It's all very nice, but not very good. Vet medium, me by you. Going higher, I can choose to gather into my universe things based on what I think people close to me would want me to do. That is, I can vet in a me by you way, choosing my favorites based on what my wife, my children, friends, boss, and colleagues value. The result, my collections of favorites might be mildly surprising, mildly mysterious, mildly mighty, and mildly satisfying to me personally and to others. Added bonus, not a lot of feathers will be ruffled. I will be politically correct. If I, however, was to vet with even higher standards, I might risk ruffling a few feathers, especially if I had the audacity to do what Frankie did. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. If I decolonized my universe of everything that did not meet the Frankie standard, I would live in a different world. If I was strict in my vetting, I guarantee that my favorites would be, to me and others, much more surprising, much more mysterious, and much more mighty. And Gregland would be so much more satisfying to me. Yet, there is an even higher vetting standard I am interested in implementing, one that goes beyond tribe, beyond relationships, and even beyond self. Whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. Matthew 16:25. I want to vet all of the stuff in my universe by the highest heavenly standard. Throughout my universe, my movie, and this tour, I use the term heavenly in two senses of the word. One, religious, of or in the heavens, divine, holy, belonging to or coming from the heaven of God. And two, secular, alluring, wonderful, or sublime, resembling or befitting heaven, blissful, beautiful. I intend to colonize my universe with things that I believe God favors me to have in my universe, meaning He helps me identify, vet, and He helps me install my selections. I believe He will and does bless me with custom designed favorites, custom designed to my particular mission on earth, and that they will be both literally divine and simply wonderful. My heavenly collections of favorites will not only be highly surprising and highly mysterious, but they will be mighty enough to shield me from recolonization by earthly empires. They will be sufficient for my needs and often of higher quality in every respect than other contemporary empires offer, though I will need to be continually on the watch for and aggressively decolonize incoming clutter from other universes that does not meet the heavenly vetting standard. And what about my tribe, my relationships, and my wants? My faith is that heavenly, me by God, vetting standards will achieve an optimal heavenly mashup, such that my final collection of favorites are, in the end, the ones that are most likely to most fully satisfy the needs and wants of them and you and me and God. Where are these heavenly things I'm on the hunt for? I believe God makes it to rain on the just and the unjust. He sprinkles a bit of heavenly things all over the world, low and high. It then becomes my job, our job, to scan, sort, and select, and prove, vet all things, and hold fast to that which is good. To gather in the heavenly, then to separate the wheat from the tares, to dejunk, to refine, and then create troves, special repositories of the heavenly. My universe is that trove. Throughout the remainder of my life, I will be searching and finding heavenly things. I already have some. In the realms of them, my tribes, my affiliations, earthly organizations, empires, they have nuggets of gold. And you, my family, my friends, have more treasures. And I, myself, inside me is hidden treasures and gifts and strengths and ideas. But my final favorite selections will be a mashup from all of these three sources, and combined with special things that God adds uniquely and miraculously, things the world has never before seen, through revelation.